now.
All right, a couple quick hitters. Questions that I've been asked recently, and you've covered this team longer than I have, so I'm just going to pass them to you. One I get a lot. Who is the 49ers? If there had to be a singular, not a group, who is the 49ers team leader?
I would have said Kittle in previous years. He's certainly the most vocal. But I feel like Fred Warner has kind of taken that mantle in the last year. I did that story from the locker room last year, and the guy who's doing the pregame speeches. Sometimes you look at that and it's just noise. There's always a guy like that on every team. Fred Warner does that. That's his role, but he's doing that all the time.
He did it at practice today.
He's constant. The Monday nothing practice. Who cares about this practice, right? I mean, they call it a bonus practice. But there was Fred Warner rallying everybody. He's doing it at halftime. He's doing it before the game. He's doing it after the game. He does not shut off. He is their motor. He's the engine that really makes that locker room run right now. And I can't. You would think that somebody would have an off day at some point, and he doesn't seem to have one. He's always there. Doesn't miss a practice, including all of training camp. It's impressive to me, just his the fact that he's kind of perpetual. He's perpetual Fred. He never shuts off.
Yeah. Best interview on the Niners. Who's the best interview? I mean, you walk into the room, you can have one-on-one with anybody in the entire team, offense, defense, special teams, and there's some good talkers, even of non-stars. But who, if you said, hey, you know what? Corey comes up to you and says, Matt, you've been covering this team a while. You can have anybody you want today, one-on-one for an interview. Who do you want? Outside of Purdy, of course, because he's the quarterback and it will get you all kinds of hits.
I mean, I would pick Christian McCaffrey only because
Really?
but not because for the reason that you just put out there. To me, he's just he's been a superstar all of his life, including going back to high school. I feel, and his dad was an NFL player. I feel like he puts on a good mask. He knows how to kind of get in and out of interviews without ever really kind of going deep. I feel like there's got to be some Christian McCaffrey stories that have yet to be written. And I've been finding it hard to sort of tap into that. So he's the guy that I would want to spend like a half hour with, just to kind of go real deep with him.
Wow, I didn't think you were going to say that.
No, well, I mean, for just kind of shooting the breeze, maybe not. I think I would pick Trent Williams or Kittle. Nick Bosa has been good, just as far as just being interesting with whatever he says. Fred Warner is good. So it's a good locker room to be in. I probably pick Trent Williams out of the entire group just because he's been around so much. He's seen it all. And he had an interesting night on Thursday, too.
Yeah, most underrated. Well, as far as best interview for me, I like Drake Jackson. I think he's fun, but I just like his personality. How about most underrated 49er? Who's the most underrated Niner?
Well, Jackson could fall into that category just as far as a guy who's been surprising this year. I'm going to go with Tashawn Gibson.
It's a good one.
Underrated 49er. I mean, nobody is going out and buying a number 31 jersey this year.
Let him in tackles Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's what you want back there, which is a smart veteran who's seen it all. And he's paired with a very young guy and Talanoa Hufanga. And I think Hufanga is basically a kind of a younger version of him, a latter-day Gibson. That's why they click so well. Hufanga is just such a student. Obviously, he's been learning from Troy Polamalu all these years, and I think Gibson sort of kind of fits into that same Jedi, apprentice role that Hufanga has found so valuable in his own life.
I'm going to go with one that you would never guess. I'm going with George Odom as the most underrated 49er. He is a dominating special teamer. This guy has gotten 2 All-Pro nods. One last year was a second team, but one first team All-Pro, one second team All-Pro. He's a very, very good special teamer. Very good. And that was an under the radar pickup, and it was just, there's a lot to like there. I think George Odom is a very underrated player. So underrated that most people would be like, "Who's George Odom?"
Number 30. He was wearing a hoodie the other night. How does he get away with wearing a hoodie underneath his uniform?
Yeah.
Did you see that? The white hood was.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, they're so critical of everything, and you can't wear the wrong color socks. How's he not getting fined for wearing a hoodie?
Seriously, what's next? He's gonna wear a dinner jacket over that. Yeah. Okay, 2 last ones here. Here are my keys for beating.
Getting out. Oh, you said we're getting out of here like about 20 minutes ago.
I know. But I got one that I can't answer in the chat that I have to throw your way, and then I'm just got your key to the Cardinals. Here are my keys: stop Connor, dial up the rush on Dobbs, eliminate the Arizona explosives, defend those 2 tight ends, avoid Catrell Clark, and get Kaiser White blocked. Give me your key to beating the Cardinals on Sunday.
Well, score more points. You can add that to your list too. I would put the Connor thing first and foremost, and that's really, it's kind of interesting that no team has really hammered the run against the 49ers. I mean, Josh Jacobs last year in Las Vegas comes to mind. But, most teams, even the ones that start out running well against them abandon it at some point. And usually because they've fallen behind. So, that's 2 ways. A, you stop Connor, and then B, your offense scores enough points where, Connor is no longer a big part of the game plan. But yeah, that would be that was the ticket for them beating the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys seem to be trailing by 3 or 6 points the whole game. So Connor never really had to diverge from their game plan. And it seems like a really well-coached team. And they really exploded when they won it for their new head coach, Jonathan Gannon. So that tells me that they've been doing it the right way there. And they've been stealing 49ers players left and right.
That's right.
Manning, Keith Ismail, and Quantrez Knight are now members of the Cardinals. So they're taking a very kind of long view approach, and they seem to have the right core and the right ideas going on right now in Arizona.
All right, and the one I cannot answer because I don't know the answer, but maybe you do. Chrissy 1687 says, would the Niners be allowed to give Brock Purdy a bonus within NFL rules? Since you mentioned he doesn't make very much money, is there any latitude for bonuses, or is it like, hey, we'll get you when the contract expires? Wink, wink. I mean, is there anything at all? Like if Eddie D owned this team, is there any way he could funnel Brock anything outside of Edwin Edwards and a briefcase full of cash? Is there any way to give your guys who are seriously underpaid some benefit?
Yeah, if Eddie still owned the team, Brock would have like a penthouse condo.
Right. And he wouldn't be living with Nick Sakel.
Exactly. Right. I don't think so. I mean, it's so regulated. They do have those kind of bonuses that you see at the end of the season that the NFLPA puts together. It's compared to the salaries, it's a pittance, but sometimes it's several $100,000 for somebody who's playing above his pay scale. I forget where Brock Purdy ranked on that. He actually probably didn't rank very highly because he didn't play for most of the season. But those are the ones where Brock Purdy can make up some ground. I did see him in a Toyota ad the other day.
I did, so yeah.
Maybe he's got a new Toyota 1-ton or something like that as part of his deal.
Brock, hey, meet Bob from Toyota. Bob, meet Brock. Maybe that's the way they get it done.